Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Connection with the weekly comic book roundup, and we're moving on from the X-Men to Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers. Starting with Avengers number 31. So, where we left off with Tony Stark in Avengers. After the War of the Realms, a Wakandan archaeology dig discovered in Turkey a series of caves that had been undiscovered. And in one of those caves was apparently a fossilized Iron Man helmet. And while Tony was of course called in, like, hey, why is one of your helmets, fossilized in this cave? Like, I don't know. Let me find out. And he vanished. We'd gotten interludes since showing that he would run into the Avengers of 1 million, the 1 million BC Avengers led by Odin, but hadn't gotten much else in the way of story there. So we begin simply years ago, back when Tony was a kid, and he explains that his father, Howard Stark, was a man of science and secrets, and he was a very bright kid who got bored very easily. So one time he went around, was at home, going where he didn't belong. It turns out that, but one thing the movies always get right: super rich people love to do super rich people kind of things. Well, this is not exactly Eyes Wide Shut territory, but damn if we're not bordering close. Or, actually, no, not Eyes Wide Shut. Probably more Rosemary's Baby, all things considered. Apparently, it was a party of a satanic type of mystically satanic party, and well, two of the guests offer flesh and blood. Then it's like, hey, we got that. Okay, well, souls, yes, we. So back to Tony 1 million years ago. Using what's left of the charge of his armor to kill whatever beasts come to bother him at night. He's also made various cave drawings, parts of his armor, Mjolnir, Starbrand, Phoenix, Ghost Rider, Odin, Black Panther. Some of the schematics for his armor, and the devil. Also, he's been counting the days, and it's quite a few. And so we found out that when he arrived, he faced down the Avengers right off the bat: Ghost Rider, Starbrand, Odin, Phoenix. Phoenix, however, then blasted him a ways away, and he did what he could to repair the armor. What started happening was he started getting offerings from some local human settlements, and then visitors from the human settlements who were less friendly. And then one night, a snake appeared to him. And so he started killing any snake he saw and sticking the body outside of the cave. However, he then got visited by a gorilla who was in possession of the Power Stone. And he tried to think Of course, as we all know, Tony Stark does his best work when he's working to not die. And so, Tony makes a ice version of his first armor but still using the power core of the original. Fights off the resurrected dead snakes that come after him, and then the devil reveals himself as Howard Stark. And Tony kills him with an icicle to the head. However, it was an illusion and just a form taken by none other than Mephisto. So Mephisto and Tony duke it out while the Avengers of 1 million BC watch, with Phoenix explaining that, we can't help him. He has to do this on his own. Also, Agamotto has seen that there must always be a Tony Stark in every existence. So, using a good portion of the power left in the armor, Tony shoots at the Time Stone, which apparently Mephisto has, and he sees strange things, or a future that could be. No more Wakanda, Asgard a lost legend, Steve Rogers shooting green drugs into his eyeballs, the flesh melting off of Carol's face. Something horrible has happened to the Thing. There's an old Wolverine that's on fire. Girls with hammers. A creepy Starbred baby. A new Phoenix, but wait, is it a new Phoenix? He thinks he knows. Because he thinks maybe he knows her. Upon returning, Black Panther showed up apparently to rescue him, and the first thing Tony wanted to do was go talk to Mephisto in Vegas. And told him, okay, considering your offer, kiss my iron ass. But Mephisto has another visitor, and he knows what this guy knows what you're up. Tony knows what you're up to, or at least has an idea. Why would you give him a hint of what's to come? And of course, Mephisto never expected Tony to take the deal. And the whole idea, though, was to sow doubt and fear in Tony. Doubt and fear which will ripple outward throughout the pink, as he puts it, throughout the pink membranes that separate the worlds. And all the Tony Starks will feel it, whether they know it or not. And apparently that Mephisto and his visitor, their fight has begun, and they're going to have to fight. They're going to have to fight all of them before it's over. Every Tony Stark ever. And we learn at the end that his visitor is none other than Howard Stark, who claims he is Mephisto's to command. And that's where the issue ends. Alrighty, moving on to Avengers Defenders, Tarot, number 3. Where we left off, it seems as though Doctor Strange had managed to save the day. However, he was promptly sucked into a portal and seemingly into space. Meanwhile, something strange was going on with the Fantastic Four's Data Zone portal, and Daredevil and Spider-Man were keeping an eye on things. So we begin at the Baxter Building. The Fantastic Four is analyzing the iCore, but according to Mr. Fantastic, the Icar doesn't exist. The machine. He clarifies that yes, they see it. They can. They it is it's something that they can that to us exists. Kind of we can touch it, see it, taste it, though that would not be suggested. So on and so forth. If you hold it, it has weight. It has texture, all of it. But the machines you have show nothing. So the machine isn't broken, but the Icar itself is beyond science and logic. And so, also going through this portal was apparently also the Silver Surfer's board. And so Doctor Strange gets onto the board, puts a force field around himself and the board, and astrally projects to maintain consciousness. As the board is brought to Galactus. At the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Silver Surfer, with his board, Vision and Wanda arrive to talk to Wong and to try and locate Doctor Strange. And Wong explains that only Doctor Strange can enter the Sanctum. The mystic seal is unbreachable, and so Scarlet Witch promptly breaches it. She doesn't know how it is she's able to do so, so she tries to use the orbital locomotive to find Doctor Strange. However, instead, Mephisto comes out and attacks them all. First, mainly going after Surfer by banishing his board into nameless infinity. Then, Surfer will witness the slow and agonizing demise of his companions. Cut to Asgard, where Thor and Valkyrie have arrived. And they find the Warriors 3, as Hogun has actually summoned them to the bridge. When they arrive as they get closer to Bifrost, Heimdall refers to Thor as image of the Odin Son, not the Odin Son himself. He's apparently seeing various versions of Thor all at once. Same with Valkyrie. And so Heimdall commands the Warriors 3 to engage Thor and Valkyrie in combat. Back at Avengers Mansion, Iron Man has made a multi-phase wave pulse generator which is designed to resonate with the residue of the dimensional rift. And he tells Hulk to basically be on the lookout for it if anything comes out, because Hulk probably have to smash it. And so a rift opens, Rocket comes through, carried with a banner again saying "Finish Line." You get some speakers flying through the portal, followed by a couple of race cars. One driven by Victor, Vile, and Varmint, the other one by Nina Nova and Comet Capone. And so Iron Man and Hulk grab on. Back at the Baxter Building, the intruder alert has gone off, as Daredevil has had to break into the building with Spider-Man, who appears to have collapsed. As the two got closer to the Baxter Building, Spider-Man sensed that something weird was happening, intensified as closer they got, and he said eventually that it felt like his nerve endings were burning, and then, well, he collapsed. The EFF go to examine him, and then suddenly they stop moving, only for the rocket that Iron Man was chasing to suddenly appear, as well as the racers. And so then soon enough all of our heroes are following them. and they end up at the secret HQ of the Unbelievables. And the Unbelievables make their presence known. The Mighty Martian, Devil Dog, Vampire Vixen, Sun Wukong, and Sha Wujing. Though Hulk doesn't think much of them until Devil Dog promptly lays them out. A fight erupts between the two groups. However, Valkyrie spies Diablo hiding in the shadows. Who insists he's not behind what's going on, and offers his tarot deck to Valkyrie, who promptly slices it in half. And the cards then reform as the pieces fall. Back with Galactus and Doctor Strange, Galactus wants to know where his Herald is, and Strange is like, hey, he's on Earth. However, Galactus does not know what Earth is. Then another rift occurs, and suddenly Doctor Strange becomes Doc Surf, the rider of the astral planes. Accompanied by fellow heroes Major Gamma, Protector of the People, Scarlet Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, the Hulkoid, Mindless Brute, Sturmmeister, God of Thunder, Reaper, Spectre of Death, Imperious Hex, Wizard of Atlantis, Gadget, a Toolkit, Essern Jungfrau, First Order of Asgard, and Captain Cosmos, Guardian of the Universe. Though, however, they can see their descriptors, which is not a normal thing. Though it is something that Doc sort of did set up. Also there, however, is Diablo. You notice he's still stained by the ichor. So Doc Surf attempts to use the Eye of Agamotto on him and realizes something's very wrong. While he's trying to ascertain what that is, the Unbelievables attack. Once again. This time looking a bit more threatening. And that is where the issue ends. Moving on to Ant-Man #2. Where we left off, Scott Lang had moved to Miami to be closer to his daughter, and the two of them were working together as Ant-Man and Stinger. However, Ant-Man was living in an anthill. Like, legitimately, living in a friggin' anthill. But he was hired by a woman to find out what's happened to a bunch of bees. So he talked to some of those bees who were still around, and they took him to the Bee-Man, the supervillain known as Swarm. Well, Swarm informed Ant-Man that Swarm has his own enemies, and they're worse than him, which is kind of hard when, when you're referring to sentient Nazi swarm, a sentient swarm of bees that's also was a Nazi. These enemies: Vespa, the thing that is hornets; Thread, the thing that is silkworms; and Tusk, the thing that is beetles. So Swarm and Ant-Man fight them off. Well, fight the trio, but end up escaping. And anyways, back at back with her mom, Cassie's just a little irked that doesn't seem like her dad takes superheroes seriously. Also, she brings up she got an offer to join the Avengers. The West Coast Avengers. And her mom was like, yeah, no. Even with Cassie explaining, hey, Kate Bishop, my best friend from the Young Avengers, is leading the team. And Cassie explains that her dad also, that Scott, while looking for this group of bees, is probably having a sit down with a bunch of bees at that moment. At that moment, Scott is having a sit down with Swarm about what's going on. Swarm recounts his origin. And apparently, the master of Vespa, Thread, and Tusk came to him, basically saying, hey, that ray that basically turned you into a sentient swarm of bees, we need you to use that on us so we can be, However, it didn't really work out. The ray got destroyed. And then Vespa, Thread, and Tusk arrive, as does their master, Macrothrax. Macrothrax shows Ant-Man the future he's trying to bring about. It's not pretty. And then the bees, however, return. Swarm brings Ant-Man back, and having saved him when he shrunk. And yeah, he's referring to Ant-Man as his friend now. And well, yeah, Ant-Man's not having that. However, the Anthony came on, Chudley, is gone. And it ended up in the clutches of Macrothrax. And that is where the issue ends. Moving on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, #1. Yes, this is I want to say it's a miniseries. Kind of as a designed to be something of a primer of sort, whet everyone's taste buds for the upcoming Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney Plus series. So we begin in Indiana at Bucky's home. And a hit squad bursts in, trying to kill him and his cat. Bucky makes short work of them. And they leave. Back in New York, Falcon's asking around about a missing person. He gets a message saying that the Office of Federal Utilities is also has an involvement with her. And so he gets the address of the Office of Federal Utilities, breaks in with Red Wing, and discovers that everyone in the office is dead. Oh, with the exception of Bucky, who's standing by the door as well. And it's explained that the Office of Federal Utilities, they go after terrorist training camps in the country. And Winter Soldier has a deal with them. Basically saying, he gets immunity from prosecution for his crimes as Winter Soldier, as long as he does their dirty work. Wipe out terrorist training camps that pop up in this country. So, it turns out, though, that Bucky's handler isn't there. Or her body isn't. So, they grab her file, find out where she lives, and head over to find her. After having made a brief stop with Misty Knight to see if Misty would take care of Bucky's cat. Apparently, that did not go too well. And they dropped the news on Veronica that her office has been massacred. So they're trying to get an idea of who might have been behind this. As they're talking, however, young kid shows up, calls himself the Natural. Apparently, he's a big fan of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and in fact, he claims responsibility for wiping out the office. And he's really looking forward to fighting Winter Soldier. So much so that he left his guns outside. He wants to fight Bucky to the death, hand to hand. Yet the fight does not go well for Bucky and Falcon. The Natural kind of wipes the floor with them. Basically ends up saying, you know what, I'm going to give you guys another shot. But not just now. Knocks the two of them out. So, basically saying, hey, you guys get another shot, but the next time that we fight, I'm going to kill you. And that's where the issue ends. Moving on to ForceWorks 2020 #1. So this is part of the greater Iron Man 2020 story arc. With ForceWorks being sent in to handle elements of the Robot Revolution. So we begin on the island of Lingares, South America. A couple of soldiers are going to the woods. They're looking for something. It's supposedly the size of a city. They don't know what they're supposed to do when they find it, but... And one of those words is, hey, if it kills us, we come back as... But something comes up and the soldiers all get killed. Cut to East Brunswick, New Jersey. A cell of the Robot Revolution is planning when they're attacked by ForceWorks. Starting with Solo, weapon specialist, teleporter, enjoys his job a bit too much. Gauntlet, close quarters combat specialist, gets powers from an alien glove, doesn't fuck around. And War Machine, field leader, heavy weapons, a literal one-man army. He takes down most of the AIs, but there are two he discovers that are hiding. They're not hurting anyone. And, however, one of them does explode, injuring Gauntlet. So a few hours later, Maria Hill, who's the commander of ForceWorks, shows up to talk to War Machine. War Machine figures he's getting fired, but no, it's not the fire. It's give him a new assignment. He's not the only operative on the mission, however. Former SHIELD agent and Avenger Quake, Demolitions, makes the Earthquake, is also being sent on a similar mission. And supposedly undetectable jet. That gets detected and shot down. Iron Man catches Daisy, and the pilot of the jet is revealed to be none other than U.S. agent. Hand-to-hand combat specialist and tough guy. Agent lands, probably gets a gun pointed at him, takes down the guys pointing guns at him, only for one of them to be revealed to actually be a ForceWorks operative, and in fact none other than Mockingbird. Spy, close quarters combat specialist, charming stuff. So then Quake and War Machine arrive, and the band is together. Also, it should be noted, Solo quit after the mission at the beginning of the issue. But something is coming in response to all the racket that Force Works has made. That something being a throng of Deathlocks. So they start fighting the Deathlocks, but they're being overwhelmed, and that is where the issue ends. And next up, we've got Avengers of the Wastelands, number 2. Where we left off, Dwight, who had managed to retool Ant-Man's old helmet, had gone up to California in the hopes of joining up with Danny Cage and young Bruce, and in helping them prevent an attack by Doom's forces. However, Doom's forces arrived, and yeah, it was kind of a mess. However, it appears a new Captain America has shown up. So we begin in Rock Springs. It's a new reliable pub. Count Nefaria is drinking and babbling, and bartender offers him a drink, so long as, he doesn't have to hear Nefaria go on and on anymore. However, then Doom shows up. They talk a bit, and Nefaria explains that in winning that one night all those years ago, the villains lost their purpose. Nothing was the same afterward. And he presumes that Doom's there to put him out of his misery. Cut to 100 miles outside of Reno. The Avengers are making their way through. Excuse me. And there will be Captain America, who identifies himself as being named Grant, tells him his story. So apparently, first, Doom tried to tried to clone the Fantastic Four, make his own versions of the Fantastic Four with their DNA. It did not go well at all. So next, he tried Super Soldier Serum. Various people showed up. Thousands applied. Only 400 made it past the first round of screenings. And then only 99 of those made it past the second round, which was one potential super soldier per vial. And of those 99, only 2 survived being injected with super soldier serum. So Grant and the other survivor became lieutenants of Latveria. Basically, they put down unrest. At first, Grant thought they were doing the right thing, but yeah, no, they weren't. So he left. Repainted the shield, made himself a suit of armor similar to Cap's, and tried to basically shadow the Doom's army. Sadly, he made it not soon enough in this case. So Dwight and Grant made it clear they don't get it gets made fairly clear fairly quick that Grant and Dwight do not get along. And then someone basically smacks their car, and our would-be Avengers get out and fight the group trying to stop them. And Grant maybe goes a bit too far. Then they picked up a radio signal, however, from Cedar City. So the group heads in to Cedar City of Champions, finds the place has been attacked by Doom. There's a handful of Doom bots outside, but yeah. So they track the transmission to a church, and once inside, They find Viv Vision hooked up to the transmitter. But before they can leave, they notice they have bigger problems. Bigger problems in the form of barren blood and a bunch of vampires looking to feast on our heroes. And that is where the issue ends. Alright, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.